So, thank you for tuning in. This is a quick introduction to the Wing Chun theory of fighting at distance. So, to keep things simple, there's two phases in any fight. There is the visual phase and the contact phase, i.e. the point before contact is made and the point afterwards. Kicking and boxing styles typically focus on the former, grappling and wrestling styles typically focus on the latter. It's of course pretty rare for street fights to commence at or outside kicking range, because even if a confrontation starts at that range, we usually gravitate closer before kicking off. That's more of a competition fight scenario. But let's assume the circumstance fits that description. It's clear contact is unavoidable. The Wing Chun solution to dealing with that is pretty simple. Because it's volatile and unpredictable, once it's clear you're in a situation you can't otherwise get out of or talk down, you don't want to hang around at the boundary of striking range. So the way you defend yourself is by immediately closing down your opponent. And you do this by directly and simultaneously moving forward along the shortest direct line. So counter-attacking along the shortest direct line between yourself and your opponent. This may seem a little bit aggressive, but Wing Chun operates on the basic premise that the only way to reliably defend yourself is to counter-attack. As anyone who's tried in practice will be aware, trying to apply purely defensive blocking movements or complex arm locks restraints in a practical fight situation is challenging, to put it mildly, and can quite often end up leaving in a worse situation than you started with. So, if it's clear contact's unavoidable, the aim is to immediately move forward along the centre line whilst covering your centre, protecting your vital points, your head, throat, solar plexus, groin. The chance you can avoid getting hit at all is frankly minimal. What you can do is reduce the probability that you're going to get knocked out or incapacitated whilst you're bridging contact. So if Tony's got his hands up, and as it's clear we're going to have contact, there's no way out of this situation, I would immediately close the gap whilst trying to cover the centre. It's worth highlighting that Wing Chun does have kicks, so we would apply kicks at all ranges of kicks at normal full distance. However, they are very rarely applied without having some control over your opponent. That's for the high risk that if he rushes me, unless I'm a truly outstanding kicker, he's almost certainly going to knock me off balance and put me on my back. That is an extremely dangerous situation to be in a street fight. Not only do I not want to go down on the floor like this, there may be multiple opponents, who knows what else is going on. So you really want to preserve balance if that is reasonably possible. So the only kicks Wing Chun would apply without contact already being made is like a low level, if he comes at me, a low level stamping kick just to the shin, just to check his momentum on entry, for example. Or if he goes to kick me at this range, we would use counter kicks. For this reason, you have the old saying, the boxer will always beat a kicker, because if the boxer is aggressive enough, prepared to close the range, not only does the kicker not get a chance to apply the kicks, he's going to be on his back pretty quickly. The concept of engaging your opponent along the shortest direct line is known as the Centerline Theory in Wing Chun. It's fundamental to the system. It has several important implications. Number one, it takes away his momentum. If he's coming at me, I'm not just standing here waiting to be attacked and trying to defend. So I'm proactively going to close down the distance. The second thing is a similar follow-on is it avoids me having to try and defend the back foot. If I'm standing here and he comes flying at me, that's challenging. It's also important in terms of reducing the relevance of peripheral or roundhouse type attacks. So if he swings wildly and throws me a roundhouse, if I'm moving forward, do it again then, step back. If I'm moving forward, I'm automatically stepping inside the range of that attack. So it's somewhat less of a problem. You're only really concerned with defending what comes in a relatively narrow box as you move forward. The last point is, it's deliberately intended to avoid you getting stuck in a sparring tit for tat. So you don't want to hang around at the boundary striking range. You don't want to make contact and then break it again. Not only is that pretty energy inefficient, every time you break contact, you're back on square one on an equal footing with your opponent in the visual phase of a fight, which, as discussed, is volatile and unpredictable. So in Wing Chun, you're only going to break contact or retreat from this position once the fight's finished. We'll cover how Wing Chun deals with grappling, which is an obvious consequence of that, in a later video. Thank you for watching. We'll do some demonstrations as well shortly. Thank you. Okay, Fred. What are we doing? Concept of how bridging the gap works. It looks a bit scrappy. It's fairly effective. As I said, it's very unlikely you're going to stop yourself taking any kind of hit at all. The next phase we'll cover in a later video.